Hello, I'm Laura Meyer, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Kayleigh Kuptz. Hi, Kayleigh, how are you?
Hi, Laura. I'm very good, thank you.
Great. So, we're doing this series on female entrepreneurs. So, please, could you start by telling us what your business does?
Of course. Um, Firstly, I'm Kayleigh. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Deployed, and Deployed is a enterprise SaaS startup, and our platform helps large corporates to scope, staff, and price their projects before they start. So we essentially automate everything that happens before things happen in a project management platform.
Brilliant. And I saw a demo recently of your tool, and it looks amazing. So, well done on that.
Had a big focus on design.
Yes,
Just to
absolutely.
stand out amongst the other enterprise software companies.
Absolutely. So, can you talk about your journey into entrepreneurship and what motivated you to start your own business?
Of course. My journey into entrepreneurship was sort of natural. I started in consulting, worked in strategy consulting for a number of years, and then switched to the client side and worked in banking. Moved from Germany to London, and the bank I worked for is where I met my now co-founder Jamie.
Right.
Um, and as we worked there together, we found a key business problem we got really passionate about and really wanted to solve. So I was in my late 20s, I had no kids, I'd just moved to London, and there was this guy I was getting on with really well, and he asked me if I wanted to start a business together. So to me, it was a no-brainer. I was all in, I was super excited. And I just love I love having an impact on real world issues that companies face. So I've not regretted it.
Brilliant, brilliant. So my next question was, do you have a co-founder? But you just answered that. And what was your thinking behind that decision? And it sounds like really you both talked and came to that decision to start it together.
I have two co-founders.
Right.
And yeah, I think it's incredibly important. I don't know how solo founders do it. Are
Yeah.
they do it all? I've nothing but admiration for it. But having co-founders to me is having a soundboard. It's having diversity of opinion. It's sometimes fighting it out, but it's always to the benefit of the company. So I think co-founders bring, different levels of skills, different personalities, different strength. And then in our case, that all balances out really nicely, which I believe is essential for the growth of a company.
And did you naturally sort of split up your responsibilities? Did that evolve, or was that very obvious to you all?
We had really different backgrounds, so there was a natural tendency and also quite different personality types. I'm more introverted. Um, my co-founder is much more extroverted, so sales naturally falls more into his remit.
Mhm.
As an ex-consultant, all I've done my entire career is work with customers and work with difficult customers. So very naturally to me, the running all implementations and working with our customers is just what I'm good at and what I do. So um, we were quite lucky in that regard that it was a good fit skills wise, and therefore also the remits that fell into it.
Brilliant. So, did you join an accelerator or a boot camp in the early stages? And if you did, why did you? And if you didn't, why not? Is my question.
We did not. Um, we did not. We instead started with some government funding from Innovate
Right.
UK, which really helped us and essentially made us do research for a year before we did anything. And doing that research and speaking to now clients and speaking to industry leaders and membership bodies about this problem really helped us nail the problem statement and therefore helped us build the correct solution that fits that problem statement. And from a mentorship perspective, we sought that mentorship and that stewardship that you get from boot camps and accelerators sort of in other ways. So we have incredible advisors from the business world, from the startup world, ex-founders who've exited, and also advisors from academia
Right.
on the content that we do. We've got advisors on design and had that very early on. So yeah, we sought that mentorship in other ways.
Brilliant. So, what was the right point to raise investment for you? And how did the fundraising journey go?
Fundraising can be great, but it can also be painful. I think it's a very market-driven activity. I hear it's very painful at the moment. We were very lucky that in 2020, we started out with a friends and family round, which came very naturally from a timing point of view, because we wanted to hire someone to build the platform essentially, or build an MVP. Post the friends and family round, we had an MVP. We were lucky enough to win a competition that had $2 million in prize money in a convertible loan, which was hosted by Melinda Gates and Microsoft and Mayfield in the US. And that really kicked off our journey. That money made us, or gave us the opportunity to hire a team, to get our first couple of clients. And then we raised our seed round in 2023. And timing wise, to your question, it felt the right point, because it's a balancing act between being nimble with the funds you have, whilst also making sure that you're not stumbling growth. So I think it's a balancing act between, you have to go and fundraise before your teams get overwhelmed, before the work doesn't match the resources that you have anymore, but also not go too early so you don't fundraise for the sake of it almost, and dilute your cap table unnecessarily. So it's that moment in time which we're now experiencing again. So we will go out for another funding round early next year. We're at that threshold again where we feel it's important to grow and hire more staff. It's that point in time.
So what's been the best and the most challenging aspects about what you're doing and what you have done to date?
The best part of this journey is seeing the impact we're making with customers, and seeing the positive feedback from customers. It's just so rewarding when you build something from scratch, and it's almost like making a bet. Will this work? Will it not work? And when you have your first couple of customers, and when you scale within corporates, and the feedback is great, that's just makes it all worthwhile. And also for the team, because the team is incredibly hardworking, hearing from the customers they use the platform, that the work they've been doing is worthwhile, creates value, and makes someone's day better. That's I think definitely the best part. As a founder, I also really love the creative freedom it brings. I love working with a dedicated team of people that I've hired, which is great. And on the challenging side, I think running a startup is a constant balancing act between maintaining momentum, innovating, growing, raising money, hiring talent, making sure shareholders are happy, making sure clients are happy, making sure your team's happy, and all of that together can be overwhelming at times. But yeah, if it was easy, everybody would do it. So
absolutely.
It's part of the deal.
And how do you keep yourself self-motivated in difficult times? Do you have any strategy that you use?
I just keep going. I just keep going. There's no time to feel down. Yeah. I'm fortunate enough to be of that personality. I just keep going.
That's good. So what is your top advice to someone else who's beginning to start their startup journey? So if somebody's starting up a business today, to a founder, what would you say? What are your top tips?
For anyone starting their own business today, I would say my top advice is to stay adaptable. The startup world and the path to build your own company is full of surprises, and flexibility can make all the difference. And those surprises you can sometimes control them, but sometimes you can't, like changes in the market. And yeah, that flexibility, yeah, you need to bring to the table. I also believe that understanding your audience needs and your customers' needs deeply will be your greatest guide to building valuable products. I see founders and we were guilty of this in the beginning, where we think we know the best product possible, and that's natural before you have customers, but once you have customers, you really need to listen to them because they're the people on a day-to-day basis that face the problem statement you're trying to solve. So listening to them is essential. And then lastly, back to my point around mentorship, I think it's incredibly important to surround yourself with a network of experts and people for the things that you and your team may not have the most experience in, or that may not be your strength. So it's important to have that honest conversation and look at the capabilities that you bring to the table, and basically make sure that where you don't have the experience, where you don't have the capability, you plug in people that will help you, because having the right people around you makes a massive difference. Massive difference.
Can I ask on something? You've touched on that last point, as well as you said before about advisors, etc. Do you have an advisory board?
We don't have an advisory board. It's not formalized. We have individual advisors. Some of them do it on a voluntary basis. Others have received share options. So they have a vested interest in the company. So for example, just to name two that had a massive impact on our journey positively is Chris Lynette, who's the ex-head of design for DocuSign and Typeform. He's joined us early on in the journey and essentially set the design principles for the software before we built the software. And that is one of the key reasons why our software is easy to use and looks different than your other SAPs and Oracle software. And we weren't strong in design. We knew we had to find someone who was, and we did. Similarly, with the content we make, it's a questionnaire-based system. We work with Professor Liz Sturko at LSE. She's also a long-standing advisor of ours, and she's essentially helped us write good questions, which makes all the difference in how customers engage with the platform, and also the outcomes of the platform, to ask the right questions at the right time. So again, it's finding the right people, getting them excited, look at different ways to keep them excited, because people are different. Some people just want to help. Some people need a vested interest. Other people want to be transactional, and that's equally fine. And it's figuring these out, but never to be shy to say where the gaps are and how you want to fill them, and also be brave enough to go to these whales on LinkedIn and say, hello, you don't know me, but I could use your help, and see what happens.
Great advice there, thank you. Lastly, what does the future hold in store for you and for your company?
Hopefully the future's bright. We are, as I mentioned before, we're raising our Series A round early next year, and I'm incredibly excited to on the back of that be able to grow the team, and with a bigger team build more products that make all the difference for our clients.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, Kayleigh, to talk to us today, and all the very best. Brilliant product deployed. Thank you.
Thanks for all your continued support.
Thank you.